So engineering is really about the process of figuring out how things work better, work with less parts, work with less effort, that kind of thing. Science is really about that too, but it's more on a kind of a strategic level than on a tactical level. Great quote from Albert Einstein here. And we can really learn from that. The thing with going green, it's something that all of us can do and all of us can figure out by ourselves. Two companies, FedEx and UPS, figured out a really neat thing a few years back. If they plan their routes to always turn right whenever possible, sometimes they have to turn left, they cut about 10 to 20% off of their fuel cost. And also, by never turning left, that's where most of the accidents happen. So they cut those out. This is a subway station in Sweden. These guys came in, they put a big like piano steps on, they play when you go up them. 60% more people use the steps now just because it's much more fun than taking the escalator. So going green in the house, the three examples we're going to give, they all have an interesting common property. They're all about changing the surface area of something. So that's kind of the science we're going to talk about as we go. But don't worry about that too much. You'll figure it out as we go. So this is an on-demand water heater. It only heats the water when you have water flowing through it. So the heater's actually off the rest of the time. Well, this saves energy because you're not heating water and heating the rest of your house and then in the summer having to cool that off at the same time. You're saving water because you don't have to wait for hot water. You have more predictable water, so a particular place on the shower faucet will give you the same temperature every time. The main disadvantage, these are fairly expensive to put in, and you're going to need a real plumber to do it because they actually change how the plumbing and the piping works. And the other problem we have is if people rent, landlords generally don't want to put them in because the renters are actually paying for the energy costs for things. How these work is the piping is very narrow and it wraps several times around the heat exchanger. It's kind of like capillaries there or something like that. So it's able to heat the water very rapidly and give you instant hot water when it works. Okay, team, these are microfiber towels. They feel kind of sticky, so show it to your neighbors around you. They don't have any chemical treatment on them. That's the nature of the structure that's in them. They're very cheap. You can get them for about 50 cents a piece. The main disadvantage, all the colors they come in are ugly. Now, they're actually useful to use as real towels. I use this as my bath towel. 1 or 2 of these is plenty to dry you off. They also are the best way in the world to generate static electricity. But please check with your cats before you do this with them. Okay, now how they work is really interesting. They are microfibers, but they've been cracked open, so they're kind of like a fractal fiber, and they have a massive surface area inside there, as opposed to something like a cotton, which only has the exterior there. So all of that surface area is able to pick up dirt. The third example is foaming soap. Now, these have been around for about 15 or 20 years now. The great thing most people don't know about them is they're refillable, and that's what you should be doing with them. So they're cheaper. It's actually faster to wash your hands with them. You can pump the foam onto your hands, wash them completely before you ever turn on the water. So they use a whole bunch less water because of that. Okay. Excuse me. And if you're going to refill them, I've looked around. I actually searched for about 5 years, and I found my favorite soap in the whole world is by a company called Trillium Organics, and the Sunflower Farmers Market here in Fort Collins sells that. So check that out if you get a chance. Burt's Bees doesn't work. Honey soaps don't work for some reason. Don't quite know why. If you're camping, foaming soaps are great to have, because especially if you're in a dry climate and don't have a lot of water around, and you can use your microfiber towel to clean, so just the foaming soap in a towel. But the most important advantage, foaming soap is much more fun than any kind of soap. And if you want your kids to wash a lot, to deal with viruses, having more fun is the most important thing. And that's the thing to look for when you're going green, is to find the things that are fun. How this works, lots of tiny bubbles have a massive surface area, and they have mechanically energized the soap to work much more efficiently. It's 4 to 10 times more efficient than regular liquid soap. So when you're looking for ways to go green, most important lesson is find things that are fun to do that. I actually don't have my slide notes online. I had a computer catastrophe. I'll have them online in a week. Thank you very much.